Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my mid-year update for my makeup inventory. My mid-year check-in, I should say. I try and do these in January and July. My numbers are always based on the first of those months, so we have a true 6-month picture. I've been so nervous to share this with you guys, so I'm filming this on the 24th and I don't even know when it's going to go up. I will be inserting some pictures though, as always with my makeup inventories, because my makeup is kind of all over the place. I have my makeup drawer shame, I have my Alex 9 drawers here, as well as my everyday makeup drawer upstairs in my bedroom where I get ready. That it's just too much for me to literally pull out every single blush to take a picture, etc. So I'll take a picture of what's in my drawers and be popping those in sporadically. But if you're someone who likes to actually count and see if what I'm saying is matching up, it's not going to be, but I promise I did my best to count everything accurately. My goal is typically collection maintenance, to be continually having things move out through empties, not really decluttering very much, and to slow the intake of makeup. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done a lot of shopping this year and my empties have not been stellar, so I'm pretty sure in almost every category my numbers have gone up. I have been doing a little bit better with decluttering. I still haven't posted that video on my channel. I don't know if I have quite enough to make a whole video on, but I am keeping them in a little pile. If my mom needs anything, she just comes over and she is allowed to take stuff from my makeup collection. So if she needs a new lipstick or she wants an eyeshadow, then I just let her have it. So that's enough disclaimers out of the way. I do have a large makeup collection, but I wanted my collection to only grow by 20 products this year. That is my makeup rehab series, which after looking at the numbers today, I will be revamping my makeup rehab series because it's just not working as I hoped it would be. I'm in the negative 5 million. That's a gross exaggeration, but let's just jump right into it, shall we? I'm going to be comparing my numbers as of July 1st versus January 1st. So let's just start with primer. I currently have 19 primers in my collection. That is up from 16 in January. I've already used up 2 this year and I used up 2 last year. So I am on track to use up more primers this year than I did in 2020, which is great. But 5 primers have entered my collection this year through BoxyCharm. 3 of them were from BoxyCharm and 2 of them I bought myself from e.l.f. for my birthday. I definitely feel like that number is very large. I would like my primer collection to be smaller than that. I am working on one very diligently in a project pan. For most of my numbers, I do know that they're too large and I want them to go down. I don't have specific goals like 10 primers that I'm 10 primers sounds much better than 19. But if I'm not actively trying really hard to either use up or declutter 9 of my primers that I have, then the goals are just kind of arbitrary, so I don't typically say them. For foundation, I currently have 16 foundations, and in January I had 14. 3 foundations have entered my collection this year. I have used up 1 so far, and all of last year I used up 2. So I am on track to maintaining using up 2 foundations per year. I should probably be using up more foundation per year if I'm going to have 16, but I am working on it. Concealer is not a problem category for me. I have 9 concealers now, and I did have 9 concealers in January, though they're not the same 9. I've used up 2 concealers so far this year. All of last year I used up 3. So my numbers stayed the same, so I used up 2 concealers and also bought 2 concealers. For powder, my powder number is both loose and pressed. I do have 13 up from 12 in January. One powder has entered my collection and honestly, this is it. Samples, like single use, foil samples, deluxe size samples, all count as one in my inventory. So this is the powder that increased my numbers. How crazy is that? So I didn't use up any powders last year and I haven't used up any this year. I do hope to have a few powder empties by the end of the year. That one included. Setting sprays, I currently have 6 sprays. This is like primer sprays, like the Smashbox primer water is included in this, as well as like traditional setting sprays. I have the Oprah one there and the ColourPop one and a few others. I'm losing my voice. So I have 6. That's up from 5 in January. So 1 has entered my collection, and all of last year I did use up 3. I have a few that are getting very low and I hope to use up a couple before the end of the year. But again, same with concealer. I don't feel like that number is too large, so I'm okay with that. Let's jump into cheek products. This is where it all starts to go downhill. So bronzers, I have 26 bronzers. I had 25 in January, so that has gone up. However, I'm seeing that I've brought 2 new bronzers into my collection, which means I must have decluttered one because I have not used up a bronzer. So I'm not really sure how that happened. I might have to do an audit of my makeup inventory and see where the discrepancy is there. Blush, I currently have 48 blush, and in January I had 44. So 4 blushes have entered my collection. I of course haven't used up any blushes this year or last year. That's a lot of blush. Now, my cheek products are both single, individual blushes, but also, or bronzers or highlighters. A blush trio counts as 3 blushes. However, if there's a face palette that has like highlight and bronzer and contour and setting powder, like more than one type of product in it, I have counted that towards face palettes. But if my BH Cosmetics nude blush palette, I have that included as 10 blushes. So I have 48 total blushes. That's a lot. I am on track to finish a blush this year though. I'm very close. That would be such an accomplishment. I'd be so proud of myself. I just love blush. Is 48 an obscene amount? Yes, of course. But I love different formulas, different finishes, different colors. It just makes me happy. Highlighters, I have 40 highlights. That is up from 39. 1 highlight has entered my collection. I haven't used any up. Again, it's a big number, and highlight makes me less happy than blush. Same with bronzer, makes me less happy than blush. So in that way, I'm kind of happy that my blush category is the largest. My highlighters definitely need to come down. Face palettes, I have 7, which is up from 6. I moved my e.l.f. Active Cream cheek product thing from my blushes to my face palettes. If you watched my cream cheek product collection video, I discovered that that has 2 blushes, a highlight, and a bronzer for my skin tone. And prior to that, I had that as 4 blushes. So my blush category was at 52 before I discovered that. So I mean, face palettes is definitely something I have on my mind to get more use out of. I've been toying around with the idea of doing a Pan That face palette for my Too Faced Cocoa Contour palette, but I'm not sure. I definitely want to be using them more, maybe throwing them in a project to use 10 times here or there, pulling them out and shop my stash. I've definitely neglected my face palettes for sure, and 2 of those 7 are completely cream products, which is concerning. So at least 7 is not a very big number. So there is that. Overall, I love cheek products. I love trying new ones and different formulas and colors, and I just like it a lot. I feel like I ebb and flow. Like a couple of years ago, I was trying and testing all of the foundations and primers, and now I feel like I'm more liking to test out both eyeshadow palettes but also cheek products. And like, it just changes all the time. So right now I don't mind having a large cheek product collection, though it does need to be smaller because I would rather have the size of a collection that I can reasonably like use and touch everything within a year, and right now I'm just not there. If you saw my makeup I haven't used in over 18 months video, you will see that a lot of my makeup is not getting touched because of project panning really, but also I am using up makeup because of project panning, when before I panned I never had makeup empties. So it's all a balance I'm still trying to figure out. Let's jump into eye products. I feel like I'm going really fast, but I don't have a lot of commentary on this. I really just want it to mostly be sharing my numbers and how they changed from last year. So I'm proud of myself for not rambling too much, though I am right now. Okay, brow products. I have 12 brow products, which is down from 14 in January. I didn't use up any brow products last year. I've used up one brow pencil this year, and I must have decluttered one, or maybe my mom needed one, because my numbers have gone down by 2. Interesting. Okay. Eye primers, I currently have 4, which is down from 5. I did have an eye primer empty so far this year, which is exciting. I really only feel like I need 3 eye primers, like a high-end one, a drugstore one, and a glitter glue. I'd be happy with that. So I need to use up one more eye primer to meet that goal, which I've been working so diligently on my Milani eyeshadow primer. I've been using it every single time I do my makeup for most of the year. I did use my Pretty Vulgar one for a little bit, but mostly it's been the Milani one, and that's my oldest eye primer, so I'd be really happy if I got that out. For eyeliners, my categories have stayed the same, so I have 22 eyeliners now. I had 22 eyeliners in January, however 2 new ones have entered my collection, so I have decluttered 2 eyeliners that were dried out or crappy. But that's okay with me as long as the category didn't get bigger. I don't love having a ton of eyeliners. I would like to have a few black, a few brown, but I would like to have an abundance of colorful eyeliners. I really enjoy having a pop of color on the waterline especially, but also to do a fun upper lash line, wing, or graphic liner occasionally is fun as well. I just don't want to have 22 black liners. I don't, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have a million of just the same one color. As long as there's a variety, I don't care if I have, you know, a larger number of them. Mascara, as of July 1st, I only had 1, and in January I had 2. The one I had in July, as of July 1st, I did buy in March, so I'm doing a really great job of rotating through them. I've used up 2 mascaras so far this year. I used up 5 in total in 2020, so I'm a little behind schedule, I guess, because I did use 1 mascara for 4.5 months instead of my typical 3. I currently, like as of July 24th, have 2 mascaras that are open, so I think I will get to 5 empties by the end of the year. 1 to 2 mascaras is a great number for me. I like having 1 to 2 open, but I also like having 1 on backup in case my mascara dries out and is flaking all over my face. I don't like feeling rushed to go out anywhere, especially in COVID times. I'm also home with the 3 kids, so I don't want to like pack everyone up in the car and drive into town just because I really need a mascara. You know what I mean? Okay, before we get into the juicy stuff, which is palettes, like all eyeshadow things, let's jump into lip products first. I'm going to keep you waiting. Lipsticks. I have 37 traditional lipsticks, up from 36 in January. 2 new ones have entered my collection. An e.l.f. one I got in my birthday order, and a Bite Beauty one I got in a BoxyCharm that I'm very excited about actually. And one I decluttered. Actually, yes, I decluttered it, but one bullet lipstick from Bite expired in my collection. I discovered it earlier this year and it smelled so bad, just like all of a sudden. Like I had used it not that long ago because it was in my 2020 project pan, year-long project pan, so I had used it as recently as December. I reached for it a couple months after that and it smelled like rotten crayons. So that's in the declutter pile for that future video. Liquid lipsticks, I have 47 liquid lipstick, down from 49. I did declutter 2 liquid lipsticks, one from a really shitty brand that I typically, like when a brand goes not cruelty free or something, I will just, pan it quietly and get rid of it and not repurchase it. But, well, I'll just show you. I'll have a rant about it in my declutter video, but this liquid lipstick from Hank and Henry, one of the owners of this brand is a vile human being, and I sold off all of my makeup by this brand on Poshmark that was unused that had come in a BoxyCharm. However, I really liked this color, so after his first offense of being a disgusting human being, I decided to keep this, and I sold everything else that was unopened because I really liked the color, and I was like, oh, I'll just pan it, whatever. And then the second instance, I was just like, I don't even want to look at it. And I also decluttered one other liquid lipstick, which I'll talk about in that declutter video. But I am happy that that number is going down because liquid lipsticks are just not my favorite anymore, though they are preferable if I am going to be wearing a mask for a long time because they don't get smeared all over my face when I have to take my mask off. They're just drying and uncomfortable for the most part. Like most of the ones I have in my collection are drying and uncomfortable, and that used to be a favorite formula for me because of the long wear, but it's just not anymore. I prefer a gloss or a bullet lipstick nowadays. Lip gloss. I have 26 lip glosses, down from 27. I have used up 2 lip glosses this year and I used up 2 last year. So I'm on track to exceed the amount of lip gloss I used if I can just keep on trucking. 5 lip glosses have entered my collection this year, so I must have decluttered a couple as well. Lip liners, I have 18 lip liners, down from 19. I used up 1 so far this year, and I did use up 1 last year as well. So I am making slow but steady progress on my lip liners. I don't need 18. I feel like I need 5. I don't enjoy lip liner. I wear it if I have a bold shade. I wear it if it gets rolled into a project pan, like a roulette, like the whole collection roulette project pan. Or if maybe I feel like I'm going to be out for a really long time without being able to reapply my lip color, then I will do a lip liner first and fill in my entire lip and then top with a gloss or a bullet lipstick, and that way it helps me with the long wear. But really, it's not a product I enjoy. So, lip balms. This is lip balms, lip masks, lip scrubs, like all those kind of things. I had 6 in January and I'm up to 12. I received 6 of those types of products, no, 5 of those types of products in BoxyCharm, and I did buy one. I did buy 1 tinted lip balm prior to receiving a million in BoxyCharm, to be fair. I did use up 3 of this product category last year and none so far this year, though I am very, very close on 1. Okay. eyeshadows. Eyeshadow singles. So this for me includes individual shadows, cream shadows, liquid shadows, pigments. I just group these all together. I have them separated by those subcategories in my like inventory spreadsheet, but not for the purposes of these videos and like this style makeup inventory, you know what I mean? But I have 87 down from 89 in January. My mom took one and I used up a liquid eyeshadow this year. I felt really great about that. It was just a mini and it dried up before I got like every last drop out of it, but it still feels really great. That is a category that I don't care if it increased. In fact, it has since July 1st. Now I'm stuttering. Because I would love to resist the urge of palettes. Though palettes are my favorite and I still will be buying palettes, but I want to buy less or be tempted by fewer palettes because I have the singles to dupe the vibes. That is kind of the direction I would like to move into. So I did purchase some singles from an indie brand that I'm very excited to try. And I would like to see that increase by purchasing magnetic singles from indie brands. I don't want any more liquid eyeshadows or pigments or anything like that, but like magnetic pans that I can rearrange. And when ColourPop releases their 7th eyeshadow palette of the month and I'm tempted by it, I hope to be able to rearrange some singles and not purchase it. I haven't purchased from ColourPop in a very long time, but that was just, their palettes are the ones that like catch my attention the most. But they repeat their shades all the time. They dupe themselves all the time. And I feel like if I had a good variety of shades as singles, then I wouldn't be tempted as much. Lastly, palettes. I went palette crazy so far this year. I've never been happier with my eyeshadow creativity and having fun and testing new formulas and new color stories, and I'm just having a blast, but I need to rein it in. I had 54 eyeshadow palettes in January, and now I have 68. I have purchased or received through BoxyCharm or whatever 15 eyeshadow palettes this year. And the reason my numbers went up by 14 is because I let my mom have one palette. She was asking about a neutral palette that was mostly mattes, and of course I have neutral palettes, so I let her have one. 68 eyeshadow palettes. See, when I say compared to others, which comparison is the thief of joy, whatever, I feel like the number's not that big, but knowing how many eyeshadow palettes I have not reached for this year, I know that number is too big for me. Now, I have such a hard time decluttering, especially palettes, because they're so beautiful and I love them so much. But in instances like my mom needing a neutral palette and I have 30 neutral palettes, I feel okay knowing that like she's going to use that until it's pretty much unusable. And that it would never get that kind of love from me. But to just be like, oh, this palette's getting kind of old, so I don't feel comfortable giving it to anybody else, and I just don't love it anymore, and throwing it in the garbage bin, I can't do that. Okay, I do have a couple other stats. Total number of makeup products that I have. And again, this is by pan to an extent, like my BH Cosmetics blush palette counts as 10 products in this number. I have 518 makeup products. That does, if I remove the eyeshadow from that, so the singles and the palettes, I have 363 makeup products. Whereas in January, the total was 493 and the total without eyeshadow was 350. So my makeup has only increased if we ignore eyeshadow palettes by 13 products, which is actually like pretty decent. Huh. So far this year I've used up 13 makeup items, and all of 2020 I used up 22. So if I can keep the pace, I will exceed that. I have not been good historically with my makeup empty, so I know like 22 and 13 is not a lot at all, but it's better than 0. And the number of pans I hit in all of 2020 was 5, and the number of pans I've hit as of July 1st in 2021 was 8. So I feel really good about that as well. Again, not impressive compared to others, but you know what? I'm happy with those stats for myself. I am improving. I'm becoming a better panner, more focused, doing my makeup more, and I'm happy with those 8 pans. It's all been eyeshadow so far this year, so I've hit pan on 8 eyeshadows so far this year. My goal is to hit 21 pans of eyeshadow, so I do need to pick up the pace a little bit, but that's all right. So that is my makeup inventory mid-year check-in for 2021. Let's see, the categories that decreased were brow products, eyeshadow primer, mascara, liquid lipstick, lip gloss, which was very surprising, lip liner, and single eyeshadows. So my 7 categories in my makeup inventory actually decreased in number. I would like to see if I can do that again in January of 2022 to have at least 7, if not more, of these categories decrease in numbers again. I have to think through my goals in terms of the numbers a little bit more, and I will talk about that more in my makeup rehab series, because like I said, I do want to tweak that a little bit because I'm at like -30 or something. I haven't actually like run through the numbers recently, and I don't feel like I'm that far behind based on the numbers I just shared with you today. And though I did bring in 15 eyeshadow palettes so far this year, all of them were very well thought out, lusted after for a long time, and I'm happy with every single purchase. So I'm thinking I don't want to punish myself by not buying eyeshadow. Right now I'm on a no buy for July at least, but it's just something to think about, and I'll ponder on that and share more in my makeup rehab series, like I said, because I really don't think I'm doing all that bad. 13 all makeup products plus 15 palettes is what I've brought in 6 months. I mean, the palettes, that's a lot. That's excessive. Okay. I'm just rambling now. I always feel so nervous filming these makeup inventory videos because I don't want the judgment. I love my collection, though I am feeling like it's getting a little bit too big. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments down below. Do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.